Good morning. Oh, they're doing construction outside. Hopefully you can't hear that. But so I have the week off, and so I thought that I would challenge myself to 1 hour of Korean study per day. I had started Korean once before, but I put it on hold in order to focus on Spanish, which I sort of have done. It's been busy this year, but to be honest, just watching Squid Game made me want to learn Korean again, and I've been reading a ton of books translated from Korean, mostly just kind of by accident. I haven't been specifically seeking them out, but I've been learning a lot more about like the history of Korea and culture and everything. Obviously, I don't expect to learn like all that much in a week, but as far as where I'm starting from, I would say I know the alphabet about like 60%. I've been using the app Write Korean on my iPad. I've also been doing some lessons on Mango languages. The last time I used Lingodeer, and I liked that one a lot better, but I don't have that membership anymore and I don't want to pay for another one. I also sometimes look things up on howtolearnkorean.com or howtostudykorean.com or Talk to Me in Korean, and I very optimistically bought this book. Okay, day one, I reviewed some of the alphabet that I have learned before, and I did another alphabet lesson. I can't do like too many of those at the same time or I just lose complete track. Then I started to do a Mango lesson, and I think I'm just gonna stop using that app, at least for now, because I just always end up more confused than I was before. Basically like giving you like 4 different conjugations for a word without explaining to you at all why any of them were the way that they were, and you just had to memorize them, which is not how I want to learn anything. So I went back to howtostudykorean.com and I did the first lesson, basic Korean sentences. So I learned like sentence word order, learned like the basic particles. I found this much more helpful than what I was doing previously. Yeah, so that is day one. It's definitely very difficult. But it's fun. It's like a totally different type of learning than learning a language that uses the same alphabet as yours. Anyway, I have a terrible headache, so I might actually take a nap. Hello. It's Tuesday. I think I'm gonna do half an hour now and then hopefully half an hour tonight. So while I was making my coffee, I watched another episode of Learn Korean in Korean. I started this a little bit ago and then I completely forgot about it. I only watched one. So he teaches Korean in Korean, you know, no romanization. It's all based on like how the sounds feel and everything. Like when I was doing a lesson on the alphabet yesterday, I was just having to look at the romanization to pick which one was which, and I was like, that's not ideal. I think I'm going to go through these in addition to the other app that I'm doing for learning the alphabet, because I do like that one. It teaches you to stroke order and direction and stuff. I'm also transitioning into a new notebook, but I want to make the first page the alphabet and like other useful stuff that I will need to refer back to. So I think I'm going to do that first. Also, life hack, if you're someone who struggles to start a new notebook, if you're worried about messing up the first page, I just skip it. I skip the first page in every notebook. I'm going to copy down at least the first 2 lessons of the alphabet here, so that I can copy in kind of notes for how the letters are shaped instead of the romanization. I don't want to have the romanization written down. I like how I wonder why my back hurts and then I'm just sitting like hunched over like this. Half an hour done, so half of today's studying. I had forgotten that this is an unlined book, so this was probably an adventurous choice. But it'll be fine probably. I did feel like with reviewing the vowels and stuff right before copying my notes over, I understood the like words in Korean so much better. Like I was so much more able to sound them out. So I think that might be the move for the rest of the time. Ideally, I would just master Hangul first, but I can't study it for very long at a time or my brain just starts to like overwrite what I already know. Hello, I'm back. It is nearly 9 o'clock. I think I'm gonna do the second how to study Korean lesson. Just kidding. So I just realized that there's a whole list of vocabulary at the beginning of the lessons. So I didn't learn any of that for lesson 1, so I'm gonna have to go back and do that. I hate learning vocabulary out of context, but I do definitely need to build up some basic vocabulary because obviously I'm used to learning Spanish and German, which have a lot of words that you can tell what they mean just by looking at them if you're an English speaker. Obviously that's not going to be the case nearly as often in Korean, so I definitely do need to build up some basic vocabulary. I just wish that they had them in example sentences. They have all of them in Memrise, so I will try this and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I copied down all of the vocabulary and I got halfway through the Memrise lesson. So, an hour in the books for today. I can definitely tell that I am much more comfortable with the alphabet than I used to be. When I, went through here and tried to guess how all of these were said, they were much closer than I used to be. Happy Wednesday morning. While I was getting my breakfast and coffee ready, I've been watching Polyglot Progress. I just find her approach to languages really refreshing, and I like how honest she is about, like right here, she's talking about how she's been in a slump for weeks, and I very much get that. Back to Korean. So I just managed to fit the vocabulary from lesson 1 in here. Oh my gosh. So they had this help me learn this button, so I clicked on it and they give you little memes. So bed is 침대. So chimps, they like bedtime stories. I'm telling you guys, this is a gold mine. Cheap. Okay, I just finished my first video ever in German, so that's exporting right now. I am excited about it. I think it's hilarious, and I think it will be really fun if I stick with German to, look back on it. Maybe a little embarrassing. It's not embarrassing to me, but maybe it should be. I don't know. But anyway, we are ready for another hour of Korean study. I am really excited. Honestly, this has been really fun, and I wish that I didn't work at all so that I could just do stuff like this. Obviously that's not an option, so I will just be grateful for this week and try to integrate more of these things into my regular life. I know that especially for a week where I'm not working at all, an hour every day is really not that much, and some people do that or a lot more than that all the time, even when they're working full-time and stuff. I don't know how they do that. I'm not that dedicated to most things. I don't even honestly know that I could say that I read for an hour a day. Yeah, I need to figure out how I'm going to prioritize. So anyway, that's a topic for another day, but we are going to get back to it. Okay, so when I watched Natalia's video reviewing this, I saw in the comments someone said that they went through and blacked out all of the romanizations with a marker, and I think that I'm going to do that with whiteout. I want to get whiteout tape because that's going to be really distracting. I'm not going to be able to stop looking at the romanization, so I think I'm going to walk to Target later, so I'll try to grab some. I just love looking at this book. The idea that I could read one of those one day is just amazing to me. So I'm gonna do the first dialogue in here. Okay, I read through the first thing, which is just a short dialogue. I knew most of these words already from Lingo Deer when I did Korean last time, but I'm gonna try to read it out loud, and then I'm going to listen to the audio, and then I'm gonna try to read it again after that. So, 소피야, 안녕하세요. 저 이동원 저 이름은 민수입니다. 저는 한국 사람입니다. 안녕히 가소요. Okay, thank God. The How to Study Korean website has links at the bottom of each lesson to sentence practice. So they have 2 videos that give you sentences in English. They also have one where you are given a sentence in Korean and you have to try to pronounce it and translate it. So that was very, very helpful. The thing that is really annoying me right now is they purposely are waiting to teach us the conjugation of ida, which is like to be. Another day in the books. Hello, Friday is done. I copied down the vocabulary from the first dialogue in the short story book. I did the second dialogue in the short story book, and then I watched some Learn Korean in Korean videos. I finished the alphabet and I did the first lesson. I have been reading this book, Princess Bari by Hwang Suk-young. This is translated from Korean. I have read several of his books lately and I really love his books, and this one is about the famine in North Korea in the 90s. It is so heartbreaking and also really beautiful, and it just has really been motivating me to learn more Korean. Several of his books are not translated into English, so maybe the dream could be that I could read his books and other books written by Koreans in Korean. That's a long way off, but that would be really awesome. We just have to take a moment of appreciation for my little forest here. I haven't used this app regularly since I got out of school, so it's exciting to have a little forest. So it is Sunday evening. I officially did Korean study for 8 days in a row. I did switch resources. I was getting really frustrated with how howtolearnkorean.com was presenting information. So they don't teach you any conjugation until lesson 5, and I did jump to lesson 5 and try to learn it just because I was like, I can't do it this way. Like, I don't want to learn like the infinitive or whatever it's called in Korean. Then I was like, am I gonna go back to the other lessons? You know, like it just didn't make sense to me. So I think I'm going to switch to Talk to Me in Korean. And I did end up getting an ebook from Talk to Me in Korean. I wanted to order the paper book, but shipping from Korea is crazy expensive, so I just ended up going with the ebook. It is the My First 500 Korean Words ebook, and I just started it today. It has kind of a grammar crash course at the beginning, and then each day through like a story you learn 10 words, and there is an audio on the app, although it force closed on me like a million times, so that's going to be a huge pain if that continues. But anyway, then you learn each of the words and you learn kind of like related words, and then there's some like memory exercises at the beginning. So it has the grammar points. I just went through and copied down all of the grammar points that were shown for day 1, and then I think I'm just gonna do the free lessons on talktomekorean.com. But I can't believe how much more comfortable I am reading after this week, like sounding things out. I know way more grammar. I still don't know very much grammar, but I know way more grammar than I did at the beginning of this week. I am very happy with this week, and I am motivated to continue my Korean learning. So if you are also learning Korean, definitely comment down below what you are using, how you're liking it, how long you've been studying, anything that you would like to discuss. And thank you for watching.